Hello everybody, I just finished the Moon, so let's talk about that. So the visuals are made with pixel art, which is cheap and functional, I would say. And even though it's an art style that is it's something that I don't generally mind. It is something that is very iffy and something that really will turn people away. So that is something that needs to be kept in mind. So it's really important that you know what you're getting yourself into when you're buying the game. That it's a pixel art game. If you don't like pixel art, you're definitely not gonna like the game that much. If you don't mind it, if it can really ruin the experience. Although I would say that the pixel art is used rather effectively in the actual game itself, because even though it doesn't allow for a lot of displays of emotion and motion just in general, it still is used in some minor ways where that it can show some small motions. And at some points the game actually does have some other drawn parts to it which are not pixel art, and those are pretty good looking as well, although not that good. But yeah, that's all about the visuals. It's basically just pixel art, so it's simply pixel art. If you don't like it, you will have a problem with the game. Audio. What to say? Well, first of all, there is no voice acting, and that's always a rather bad situation. But it's fine enough. There's a moderate amount of dialogue, or the game isn't too long, so the amount of dialogue isn't too bad. But there is still quite a bit of dialogue, so it's kind of annoying that there is no voice acting. Though it's understandable for an indie studio to not have, or indie game developer to not have a voice actor, or actor, like multiple voice actors, because there's quite a few characters, so it's completely understandable. Especially since we are traveling through the past, it's understandable why there wouldn't be more voice actors. Then, on the other side of the audio spectrum, we have the OST, which is absolutely beautiful. It's very beautiful OST. I really like it, and I would really recommend people to buy it, because half of the proceeds go to charity, which is really quite admirable, I would say. Although I would say that one of the downsides, even though the OST is really good and the music is really beautiful, I would say, one of the downsides is that it is rather repetitive. But that is something that you just have to kind of deal with, because what songs there are, they are quite good, and there are some songs that are used only once, so it's completely fine. Story. So the story of the game is actually a touching story about love between Johnny and River, and it's completely explored rather interestingly. It's a very lovely interactive exploration through their past together, and that's a very interesting way to show us the story, I would say, but we'll get more into that in the gameplay section. But it's a very interesting way to tell us the story by letting us explore the history of the characters together in a very unique manner, I would say, and I quite liked it. It certainly was very unique and very interesting. So, and it raised quite a lot of questions, and it kind of let us organically explore their past quite a bit. So it's quite good. Now, the downside of this game is that there are no choices, like no choices at all. But that's understandable, because it's an interactive story, so it's definitely just an interactive story, so it's understandable why there wouldn't be any choices. Still, regardless of that, I quite liked it. let's have a quick mention about the characters. So first of all, River, who I quite liked because she was an intriguing and interesting, because she was definitely a special. It's not exactly clear what exactly was special about her, but I do have a pretty good idea what was special about her. And besides, it's not important what exactly is wrong with her, or was wrong with her, but it's more important that there was something definitely different about her, because but it's not important to know, because even Jonathan doesn't care what is important about her, so you know, it's good in that manner. Then I really do like River. Then really quickly about Jonathan, who I found to be very bland overall. He's a very stereotypical, although he was attracted to the mysteriousness of River, which is a trait, to say the least. It's completely fine, but there's not much to say about him. Then Eva and Neil, who are the main two characters who we play the game with, and I like their banter. They are quite the characters, and they do have a past together, which is kind of explored through their conversations, and that is something that I quite liked. So that's it. It's a very interesting way to explore that as well, and they are really close buddies, so I quite liked that. And I liked how many jabs they had through at each other, so it was quite nice, I would say. Then the gameplay. Oh boy, it's a point and click game, through and through. Although, well, there's one section which is kind of deviates from the standard point and click procedure, but it's still very much a point and click adventure game, and if you don't like that, you will definitely not enjoy this game, because, well, that's hard to say, but it's really kind of hard to enjoy the game if you do not enjoy a point and click adventure game, because it's the way that you explore the game, and if you do not enjoy, well, it's not that much pixel hunting, to be honest, but it's a point and click adventure game, so if you do not enjoy that kind of searching for clues and kind of solving puzzles, kind of, in a way, it's gonna be really hard to enjoy the game, but not impossible, I would say. It still is a very, because of the story is so strong. The story is the main driving motive behind the game, and it's a very strong story, so it's definitely not impossible to enjoy the game. And because this game actually is a very interesting exploration it's an interactive exploration of the history of Jonathan, which is certainly, like I said in the story department, the story section, it's an interesting way to do it, and it's a very unique way to do it as well. It's something that I really quite found myself immersed in, because it was certainly something that I had not explored or hadn't experienced yet, and I have played for quite a while, so I should have experienced something like this, but clearly not. Well, maybe. I maybe not directly anything like this. Nothing that where the exploration of the history, and through that exploring more about the characters, being their main modus of searching through or the main gameplay part, which is really pretty nice actually. I quite liked it, but like I said, it's a point and click game. If you don't like point and click games, it's gonna be really hard to get immersed in the game. So, would I recommend the game? Well, I personally really like the game, so I would recommend it, but there are a few caveats to that, and that's that, first of all, it's a point and click game, so if you do not like point and click games, you are gonna have trouble with the game. And if you don't enjoy the pixel art games, you are also gonna have trouble with the game. But it's still it's a really good story. It's a very touching story. It's a very emotional story, and that is something that, in my opinion, overrides all of the bad stuff about the game, which there is, in my opinion, very little. Well, for me, personally, there was very little of, because I enjoyed all of the aspects of the game, because I like pixel art, I like point-and-click games, so I quite liked it. It's also an interesting interactive storytelling method, and rather unique one at that, so that's very... it's also very fresh in that way. And also because the story itself has a very intriguing concept behind it of altering the memories of a person just to grant their dreams. So that's also something that's very interesting, and that's an intriguing concept which I really quite enjoyed seeing, and I would love to see more of that. So those are really good points for the game. So if you keep those caveats in mind, there's a lot of positives about the game that why you should buy it. So yeah, but there are two caveats: that it's a pixel art and point and click game. So those are things that you should keep in mind. Then a new section in these videos will be a price point comparison, which is that you can currently buy the game in Steam for €8, and however much that is in your currency, you can easily calculate that, but it's for €8. And I would say that it's totally worth it. It's like 4 to 6 hours of experience, but it's a very unique concept, and it's a very unique story and unique storytelling method, and it's a very touching story, which I would say completely is worth the experience. Although I personally got the game on sale, so it was definitely worth it. €8, still €2 for per 1 hour of fun. That's kind of a good deal in my opinion. And it's something that it's an experience that you won't get anywhere. So if the aspects of the game sound interesting, I would highly recommend it. So yeah, go ahead and buy it. Now, I have no highlights for this game, because there's quite a lot of places that I would highlight, but there's generally like I want to keep it both spoiler free and just in general very there's a lot to go through. I would really just highlight basically majority of the game, so there's no highlights in this video, unfortunately. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and tell me your opinions. Is this price point comparison, is it a good idea to do in the future? I hope it is, because I would love to do more of this. So I'm not gonna give a score or anything like that, but unless, maybe I should, I don't know. Give me your opinions. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope it was informative, and I hope you enjoyed my opinions about the game. So I hope you enjoyed the Let's Play as well. So yeah. And with that, I thank you all very much for watching. I'll hope to see you all in the future. Have a great day and stay awesome. Ganmu out. Thank you very much for watching.